Hello, hello. So today's today's Sunday, and I wanted to continue just making videos and just talking and just continuing. Like I said, I'm pretty motivated and just excited to talk about everything that I said in the first video. Yesterday's video was more about just just a quick introduction. I wanna learn how to just talk off the top of my head. I don't really want to have everything just written down and scripted, even though I know with time it will have to be like that. So it can be a little bit more, structured with everything I'm going to say. But, I mean, as of right now, you know, I don't feel like anybody's going to be listening to these videos anyway. So I might as well just practice talking off the top of my head. And, getting better. Just getting better. And talking and feeling comfortable with telling all these stories, because I'm sure with time these are all the same stories I'm going to tell again, and just going to go through everything once again. But what I wanted to talk about today is just kind of get a bit more in detail of everything that transpired, I guess, with me being to where I am today. Once again, I'm currently working out of a warehouse in Portland, Oregon. I'm staying at a hotel, and I'm originally from Los Angeles, California, and I just want to explain how I ended up here and what I'm doing at the moment, and just kind of give you guys an idea of how I'm living and how I ended up here. So, coming out of high school, I didn't really have anything planned. I tried going to community college, and I pretty much quickly found out that I really wasn't all that smart in certain subjects. You know, kind of noticed right away that I was going back to, basic English, and really saw myself that instead of progressing in life, I was, not progressing. I was actually going back. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little I felt a little dumb of myself. Just kind of thinking like, damn, what was I doing through high school? What was what was my focus on? And now that I think about it, I really don't remember. Like, I know exactly, but that's something for a different subject. But I know that one thing was I wasn't focusing in school. And so, I didn't really have anything planned out, meaning I didn't really have any motivation on a career that I wanted to do or something that I wanted to focus 100% of the time on. Growing up, I was more fascinated with with music. I remember always just having my headphones on. Um, I grew up playing sports, but I knew that basically I wasn't gonna become a professional athlete or anything. And not because I didn't believe in myself, but more because that's just a difficult type of career to get into personally. I just feel like that I had a different way to go. Um, and it was kind of tough just getting out of high school and just dealing with that, just kind of thinking like, damn, I really have nothing to be motivated about. I really don't have a passion that I want to, you know, just focus on and study and devote my life to, or something along that line. You know what I mean? I eventually, started working at a grocery store, and I was working at a at a meat department, and it was a great experience. You know, I really enjoyed it at the time. You know, you kind of start off the whole pushing carts thing, and you know that was whatever's. It wasn't the best, but you know, at the time coming out of high school and just finding a job, I guess, because I really wasn't gonna pursue, you know, community college. And like I said, once I kind of saw that I was going down, you know, taking lower level classes that supposedly I had already graduated in high school, you know, it, I was unmotivated to continue going to school. And so I decided to start working. And, you know, shortly after pushing carts for a little while, they pushed me up to like the deli, pretty much like unboxing the Lunchables and putting them in the refrigerated area. That was cool. You know, basically you're just pushing everything forward and putting all the new items and the new boxes that you're opening, you're putting them all the way in the back. That way everything's just going by date and whatnot. After that, I got the opportunity to join the meat counter, you know, in the meat department, and I took the opportunity. They were paying a little bit better, nothing too much out of this world, but you know, that's where I started, you know, learning how to do customer service and talking to people. Basically, I was going in at 3 in the afternoon and helping the meat counter, the homeboys in the meat counter, just serving up meat to any customers, talking to them, asking them what they needed, anything from, you know, meat, beef to pork to chicken to turkey to ham. And then maybe around I would take my lunch maybe like around 7 or 8. I would go in at 3, take my lunch around 7 or 8, take an hour lunch, and then once I would come back, it was cleanup time. So basically I would clean up the whole meat area, and this is where you kind of learn all that stuff of, you know, cleaning the meat cutting machines and cleaning the blades and cleaning the trays and you know, knives and any equipment that the meat cutters were using, and the ground meat machine, and cleaning, squeegeeing out the floor, and not just anything along that line. And this was a pretty cool job. You know, I'm never gonna say that a job is bad. At the end of the day, a job is a job, right? And you know, that job, it got me my first car. It helped me save up some money. It just kind of, you know, opened up my mind and taught me new experiences and situations that go on in life. Being able to talk to people and things like that. While I was working here, this is when I started, getting into the whole music, the norteño music scene. Música norteña. And when it comes to música norteña, I I enjoy playing anything from Chalino Sánchez to Los Relámpagos, El Palomo y el Gorrión, Los Alegres de Terán, Los Invasores, Gerardo Ortiz, Rego Lucaro, Larry Hernández, Roberto Tapia, Los Tiranos, Los Alegres del Barranco, Voces del Rancho, Táctica Norteña, Comando Negro, Los Muchachos, Banda MS, Espinosa Paz, just all around any type of norteño music. And I don't want to get too deep into it, because recently in the past norteño music, I haven't really kept up with it, and I'll be honest with that. But I did play a lot of those, like, Ariel Camacho, Codiciado, Adrian Favela, just some music like that. My favorite group of all time is always going to be Grupo Cartel. There's other groups, grupos that I really enjoy, but it's always going to be that type of música norteña that essentially I came to grow and love. And there's just so many more. I'll make another detailed video. I can even go over all the artists that I do have and I do like and I do listen to. But right now I kind of want to show a variety of everything, just kind of the old school to the new school. And don't get me wrong, I do like the new type of corridos that are coming out as well. It's just, there's just so much more music that I like as well. When it comes to, like classic rock, I listen to a lot of Beatles, Beach Boys, Led Zeppelin, The Police, Leonard Skinner, The Rolling Stones, Johnny Cash, Elvis Presley. Just a lot of different types of style, even going back into oldies like Billy Stewart, Chuck Berry, and even going into the 80s like Guns N' Roses, Queen, Metallica, just so much. There's just so much music, even in Spanish, like Luis Miguel. There's always great music like that, like Románticas. Then great rock music like Audioslave, Three Doors Down. Just so much music to go around. And even when it comes into rap and hip hop, you got NWA, you got Wu-Tang Clan, Big L, Tupac, Biggie, Nas, Jay-Z. You have just so much different types of music around, and there's just so much that I really enjoy playing. Nirvana, Alice in Chains, Rush. Just I can just go on, but like I said, I just want to give you an idea. And basically what happened was And this is what this channel is going to be about, is just seeing how my experiences are and were with Música Norteña, going out and gigging around Los Angeles. I grew up in Los Angeles, and with the group that I started playing with, I saw that these guys would leave at 4 in the afternoon on a Saturday, and they wouldn't get back till Sunday at 10 in the morning. They were going out, and I remember the guys that I was playing with, it was a bajo sextero, and it was a accordion player. A bajo sextero is pretty much, he's not a guitar player, he's a bajo sextero, which is basically, it has 10 strings instead of 6 strings like a regular guitar, and it's made to accompany an accordion player that are going out to sing in bars, and made to sound a lot deeper than an actual guitar. So I remember, just being fascinated with, seeing them make money on going and just playing music. Like, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was so cool, and I had always loved to sing growing up. It's always something that I've liked to do and I'd love to do. I actually posted up a video earlier today about me singing a song and a cover of a song, but it's just something always that I've enjoyed, and I've come to love. So I remember I asked the accordion player, I was like, hey, I'm down to learn the drums, and if you guys are looking for a drummer, I'm down to play. And and we went ahead and tried it out, and I went and bought a snare, and I started practicing on the snare drum, and I started watching just different groups that did just snaring. I remember Los Parranderos de Medianoche. That was a group that their tarola player, their snare player, he was very well, and they would go out and play with a bajo sexto, accordion, a snare, and upright bass. In Spanish that would be with a tarola, a tololoche, a bajo sexto, and un acordeon. And the way, there's some videos up on YouTube with that group, Los Parranderos de Medianoche, and they were they're a very good group, and they played very well, and they play very well. And those were some of the early videos that I would see and just be inspired by. It was always fascinating to me that, those people going out there and showcasing their talent to the world and putting themselves up on YouTube. And, this was 14, 15 years ago. And, I feel like now this is the time, because being able to share my experiences, because I felt like going out and learning all these experience with gigging, and now with working in the world of logistics and warehousing, and being out on the road by myself and living life and experiencing this, it's come to teach me a lot, and it's come to kind of show what people go through, what one goes through. I know I want to be able to share that with everybody and kind of give them an idea if they want to enter this type of world on music and gigging and going out and being out on the road. Going out and gigging around Pasadena, Altadena, Boyle Heights, East LA, Lincoln Heights, Highland Park, Cypress Park, Sylmar, Van Nuys, Riverside, Oxnard, just really all over LA County, South Central, you know. It's just awesome going around, and never had a bad experience, thank God. We always got treated with respect, and, always had a lot of love for the people who hired us, and couldn't be as much as appreciated than than what I am. Very grateful. I had a lot of great experiences playing at people's weddings, baptisms, birthday parties, borracheras, anniversaries, just so many different, type of events. Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, great times. And that's what I kind of want to showcase. Saying the stories that I went through with the group, and the good times, the bad times. This is what I want this channel to be about. I want to hear if anybody has gone through similar type of stories or similar type of actions that we've gone through, and just kind of coming and seeing, learning learning how to play the snare. I also then started learning how to play the guitar, and going out and playing at different venues like El Rodeo, La Mi Hacienda, Uruapans, La Zona Rosa, and just all over Los Angeles County, just it's a great experience. It's a very nice experience, and like I said, I want to be able to show all this, and that's pretty much how it started with all this gigging and going out and living in that lifestyle. So I I got in with the group, and I got a teacher. I got a teacher right there in South Central, and I actually got three teachers. Three different teachers. And I'm very grateful for all of them. They were all part of different groups, part of different Norteño groups right there all over South Central. And I'm very grateful for learning and being able to network with them, as far as the people that I was around were able to introduce me to them. So I'm very grateful for situations like that and the people that I was around. Obviously throughout all these times, you're indulging in amanecidas, drugs, alcohol, and these are kind of some of the stories that I want to go through as well. Some of the things that I went through with these type of things, because those are the things that are around this environment when it comes to música norteña, going around these areas. And I'm not complaining, and I'm not saying anything, but I just kind of want to showcase the real side of these type of situations as well, and what I went through. Kind of just be able to talk into the mic and just share my experiences. I'm very excited, and I'm very happy to kind of say what I've gone through, and little by little just post up individual stories and things that I can get into detail with. But that's basically how I started getting into gigging, into going into the música norteña. While I was doing this music and gigging and going out every Saturday, I noticed that I wasn't doing anything throughout the week. So I started working at a warehouse, so that way I can start saving up a little bit of money, because I was making such little money just gigging and having to have that money last me for a week, and because thankfully we were gigging every weekend, but once a week for $200 is $250 and stuff like that. It just wasn't adding up after a while, and the only reason I'm saying that is because I had left the grocery store for being drunk, and they caught me drunk. I ended up leaving there, and this is just one of the stories that I'd rather be honest with right now. And after that, I was just kind of at home doing the gigging for a couple of years, and until I started working again. This is when I started working at a warehouse, at a local warehouse there in Los Angeles. I started basically unloading the backhaul. So I was separating all the garbage from all the pallets that were coming in from the store, and separating the plastic from the bins and the watermelons and all the trash and the cardboard and things like that. And this is where the logistics side and the warehousing side get into play. And just another field that I really enjoyed, kind of like a blessing in disguise because of everything that I've learned and everything that I've loved to come to learn of this field. After that, I got into order selecting, so I was picking orders on a pallet jack, on a double pallet jack, building two big pallets of merchandise, different items. At the time, I was working at a seasonal warehouse, so we were taking care of anything and handling any merchandise, like things that were coming out of containers overseas. They were being unloaded by hand onto pallets, onto Petco or Champ pallets, and basically just order selecting. We go out, a lot of candy, a lot of seasonal stuff, decorations, anything from let me see, anything from let me see. Let's basically anything from like St. Patrick's Day to Valentine's Day, 4th of July, Christmas, harvest, Thanksgiving, New Year's, graduation. I'm sorry for the stalling. I had it written down, but I can't find it right now. But once again, those are just some off the top of my head. And I was working at a local warehouse, and with time, got transferred over to another warehouse, which was more of a general warehouse, I would say, that carried a lot more different items, more like general household items and canned items and bleach and shampoo and sodas and chips and candy and just really anything. And then with time, got moved over to another warehouse, which was back to the seasonal warehouse, but now they had moved to another location, and I ended up staying there and becoming a receiver, and that's pretty much where my soul is at when it comes to these warehouse functions. Receiving has always been, my favorite department to work in. With time, come to find out that there was a company that was going to come in and take over the order selecting. Basically, nobody in the company that I was working at wanted to do any order selecting. And so what I guess the company decided to do is they were going to bring a company that was going to bring in people and get paid by performance. My boss at the time had let me know pretty much with 2 years ahead of time that this was going to happen. So I was very grateful that he had told me with time. And basically I didn't mind because I was good with the receiving, because they gave us Sunday and Monday off, and I needed that because I was gigging at the time. So I didn't really care because I was going to make up any money that I needed with gigging. But basically, everything that he said came true. A couple of years into me being a receiver at that other warehouse, they brought in a company that started paying people by performance. At the time, I was getting very high, and I was drinking a lot. Modelo Tall Boys 24 ounces in a can. Those are my favorite beers right there. And I was basically just getting really high at the time, off of methamphetamines. And I was very comfortable where I was at. I didn't see the harm I was doing to myself at the time, but I was just comfortable. And then with time, I kind of started getting deeper into those things, and I decided that just know that I'm gonna get deeper into these stories. This is just basically, once again, me trying to learn to talk off the top of my head and just be comfortable and just go ahead and talk into the mic, and little by little I'm just gonna get more into detail. So if you're interested, just keep coming back. But I ended up deciding that I was gonna get sober, and what I did was that company that was there at that warehouse, I decided to jump ship. I decided to jump ship and go over with them with the intention and the goal, because they had a traveling program. So my intention and goal were basically to get on the traveling program and start traveling around the United States with their traveling program, and that's what I'm doing today. I was connected around the correct people. I spoke to the correct people, and I did a good job for everything that they needed from me, and everything that that I went with the intentions of doing, and everything worked out. And I've been on the road now for 5 years, going to different states and going to different warehouses and doing different functions, and just learning about different things. I learned a lot about security when it comes to warehousing, knowing who's going in and out your warehouse, yard jockeys, yard goats, people to take care of the yard and move trailers around, and anything you need from them, the unloading process, on the way containers are getting unloaded, receiving process, counting up these items and making sure that everything's correct and they're being received correctly, hauling, clearing out the dock and putting these full pallets into locations and aisles and bulk areas and racks, reach truck put away and replenishment, putting away these pallets and then replenishing them. That way order selectors can come in, pick these boxes. Then the order selecting, long hours just going ahead and picking orders from different type of systems. Staging, going and staging these pallets once they're done and once they're selected completely. Loading, loading up these pallets into the trailers and getting them shipped out with the whole shipping process, driver's assistance, someone going out and helping the driver unload these pallets and these items out at the store, inventory control, auditing, warehouse safety regulations, clean out, backhaul, learning everything about machineries, warehouses, safety, management, all of that. And it's something great. It's something that I enjoy. It's something that I've come to love and just respect and learn all around. And once again, I want to share my experiences with all of these things, with everything that I've learned on traveling and coming out. And this company and this opportunity is all paid for. They fly me out here, they give me a rental, they put me in a hotel, there's transportation to work, they give me per diem so I can buy food every day. And I can't complain. Everything has been pretty good up to now. The pay, depending on the type of work that you're doing, is pretty decent. But I want to start going out and giving my experiences and giving my ideas of everything that I've been living up to right now, up to this time. And I just want to continue to keep talking about this and talking more and more about it, finding more topics, and being able to post my music and just be here. And anybody that has anything to say, just go ahead and share your stories if you're living in this type of world and this type of atmosphere. If you have any stories about gigging or going out and doing what I'm doing on traveling around the United States, I'd love to hear anything like that, and just anything in a warehouse in general. My main goal one day would be to start up my own traveling third-party logistics company. And I want to talk about it here, about the ideas I have and about how I can kind of get it going forward. And I think just like anybody else, it's just a dream I have behind my head. And once again, I would just like to talk about it and just find different cool topics to talk about and different ideas. Just remember to tune back in. I'm gonna try to upload at least once a day. Like I said, right now where I'm at in Portland, Oregon, I'm working Monday through Friday. I'm just unloading containers, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have to be out here traveling and visiting different states and just working more than anything. I know it's kind of rough times for some people. I know there's a lot of people sitting down at home right now just waiting for a phone call. So I don't take that for granted. And that's another reason I wanted to start up this YouTube channel and talk about these experiences. That way I always have a way to talk and get these stories out and let you guys know about my experiences in life and what I'm going through. And if you guys want to share what you're going through, just go ahead and do the same in the comments, and we'll get it going from there. But I appreciate anybody that went ahead and took the time to listen to this video today, and I'll make sure to go ahead and try to post another video tomorrow and just try to keep this going. We'll see where this ends up, and we'll see how it goes. Everybody go ahead and be safe, alright? Talk to you guys later.